So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So today we're going to go ahead and give you guys a quick little real estate market update on my local area, of course, South Texas here. It's been really slow. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been really slow. I have a house on the market. My sister has a house on the market, and my aunt also has a house on the market. And they have been very slow. When we first listed them, we were getting a lot of showings. Then all of a sudden they've died off, and now we haven't had any showings in a very long time. So things are really dying down, and I do get the reports from my area. On average, they're selling about 1 to 2 houses per month, which is not great considering there is quite a bit of inventory. I did see a recent article that said that there were now the sellers outnumber the buyers in the area, so it's not good. Not good for the sellers, good for the buyers, but not good for the sellers. Houses now are sitting in the market for multiple months. I know whenever we had the COVID deal, you know, houses were not staying on the market very long. They're actually getting multiple offers, multiple bids on the houses, and typically going for over asking price. That is no longer the case. They are selling for well below asking, and sometimes barely getting one offer after multiple months sitting on the market. So the market isn't really in a good place, but again, interest rates still remain high. There's still a lot more uncertainty in the markets, in the economy, so people are hesitant to go out and get these loans. And then to top it off, there's still insurance prices are still going up. I saw, you know, I'm talking specifically for Texas, but I also saw in California that there's going to be like a 30% or 18% raise on insurance in California. So again, California is its own beast out there, but you know, home prices were already expensive. Then you tack on the extra cost for the insurance. You know, it's going to make a lot of things unaffordable, and it's going to basically price out a lot of people. So you're going to have less buyers in the market than you already had. Now, again, interest rates are still high. I mean, nobody's really applying for these interest rates because it's unaffordable for a lot of people. So I do have a home that's been on the market. It's been on the market for, I want to say 7 months now, 6-7 months. So it's been on the market for a very long time. And the other house that my sister has been on the market for about 3 or 4 months. And the property that my aunt has been on the market for about 4 or 5 months as well. So they've been on the market for a very long time, and they aren't moving. There's a lot of properties in the area as well that I have been passing by on my way, just going to places, that have been just sitting there, and you don't see any showings. You don't see, now I'm in the country, so I'm very observant, and you know, there's no tire tracks leading into these dirt driveways. It's like, especially after it rains, it stays like that for a while, and you can tell when somebody's been in and out of properties, and there's just no showings. There's nothing going on, and there's more and more inventory getting onto the market. We've seen more and more properties hitting the market, but again, not more and more buyers. So again, it's going to lead to a problem if this continues, and we'll see if the interest rates do get cut. If interest rates do get cut, then yes, I would expect for buyers to hopefully slowly start coming back again, especially if the uncertainty in the markets kind of simmers down a little bit, calms down, and we get an interest rate cut. I think that'll hopefully help boost things. But again, it's going to take a little while because we're still so high. It's going to take a couple cuts before we really get back to a really hot real estate market. I've also seen a lot of realtors that are going out and getting extra jobs or side hustles just because they're not selling as many homes as they maybe have in the past, especially during the whole COVID deal. Everyone who was in real estate was making money. You could throw a stone, you'd probably make some money. Like, it was a really hot market at that time. Money was cheap, interest rates were really low, so everybody who could did take advantage of it. But again, that's not the case anymore. Now, as far as ranches are still selling. They've kind of picked up, I guess I should say. They've picked up over the course of the last maybe 1 to 2 months. They've really picked up, especially these big multi-million-dollar ranches have really picked up. We're talking about ranches in the 8 to 20 plus $1 million range have really picked up. I think it's because there's a lot, I think because there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of these wealthy people, god dang these little bugs. A lot of these wealthy people are looking for places or safe havens to park their cash, and they're betting on real estate or raw land. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's a good investment. I'm kind of leaning towards the same way as well. I've seen just a lot more of these big ranches selling versus you see these residential properties, residential homes, and they're just sitting on the market forever and ever and ever. But these multi-million-dollar ranches are selling fairly quickly, considering their price tag, right? Now, when it comes down to these smaller ranches, well, I guess we'll go ahead and go in the middle. So these middle ranches between, you know, maybe 100, 200 acres, maybe worth between $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. Some of those are moving, but they have to be a particular property. Basically, they have to be a highly desirable property, and then they'll kind of move. But if they are not a super highly desirable property, they're sitting on the market definitely a lot longer, sometimes even upwards of a year. But if they are a fairly priced property with, you know, a good soil, good trees, good landscape, everything, good area, they're selling a little bit faster. But that's for the middle-sized properties. Again, these larger multi-million-dollar ranches are usually, I'm talking about, are 500 on up in acreage. They're really big ranches for around here. Now, for these small little subdivided tracts of land, talking 10, 20 acre tracts, they're sitting on the market very long. They are sitting on the market very long. That's because they appeal to, they're not appealing to these very wealthy people. No, a lot of these wealthy people don't typically want, you know, a 10 or 20 acre tract. They want more privacy than that. So they're going for these big ranches. These 10, 20 acre tracts appeal more to the traditional residential buyer who's looking to, you know, maybe put a trailer home out there, maybe build a house out there. Very different mindset, very different consumer base when it comes to those properties. You're talking about two very different people. So those are sitting on the market just like a residential property would. So those are just some of the quick things that I'm noticing in the market. Again, I am paying attention to these things all the time, every day, just noticing what's going on. And those are just some of the things that I am seeing. It's very interesting, but again, like I said, you would think that these large ranches would sit on the market for a very long time, considering the price tag of multiple millions, when you can't even sell, you know, these other smaller tracts that are listed for 150, 250,000, but yet these properties are listed for 8 million, 20 million, 17 million are selling. So it's very interesting. Smart money, I call them smart money, people with, you know, multiple millions of dollars. They're betting on these big tracts of land. So, you know, maybe they're onto something. They didn't get there by being dumb, right? So just what I've seen, what I've been seeing lately. Again, there's been an uptick in these big ranches lately from what I've seen. The biggest one I saw, just for tidbit of information, was 53,000 acres, not too far from here, that recently sold. Again, that one sold for multiple millions of dollars as well. But yeah, without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.